everyone. So I am here with a new doll. Um, I just wanted to go through some of the things that I have set up. I have three EVP recorders going. And the reason for that is I set them up in different locations throughout the room. Um, this doll is usually up on the shelf that is above where the candles are. There's two shelves, and it's usually located up on top of that shelf. So I put a EVP recorder over there in that part of the room. I also have an EVP recorder next to me, and I also have the third EVP recorder over across from the doll up next to my bed. So I have three EVP recorders going. I also have a laser grid. I have behind her is this white light that, okay, so as you can see, that just turned on. If they go near it or they touch it, it will turn on. I also have two of the laser balls next to her, and I also have a flashlight. I don't really rely on the flashlight that much because it can be kind of like a fluke thing. I still put it there because there can be communication that can happen with the flashlight, and it's a twist flashlight, so twisting the flashlight in the direction to turn it on, it's like right there, right at that like cusp of being on, and so spirit can manipulate that and turn it on and off and use it to answer questions. However, I do not solely rely on that because, like I said, the flashlight can kind of be a fluke thing because it is, and this is just my opinion, because it is like right on the cusp of being turned on. I just think that, it's better to have a whole plethora of tools rather than having just one. And so I have the EVP recorders, three of them. I have the laser grid, that's the green dots that you see behind her. I have this white light, and I have the EMF. So last video, my intention was to go through the EVP recorder, the recording that I had going, and post any EVPs that I had. However, my AC was going, and so therefore the AC, the sound of the air conditioner, really just took over the entire recording, and nothing could be heard. And so today, I know I don't have the air conditioner going, which is why my husband is also not here, because my husband won't come in here unless the air conditioner is on because it's just too hot in here. So, but I figured I'd keep it off, that way I get clear recordings this time, and I have my notebook so I can write down information. I don't know much about this doll. I do know that she is spirited. I am not entirely sure what is attached to this doll, and so this will be, a fresh, attempt to communicate with her, and so we will begin. And I also have the spirit box as well, so I'll be using that later. So let me just turn this on. Okay, so as you can see, now when I had turned this on before, it was a stable one light. It was not going off at all. And so she's ready to talk, I think. So let me just start by saying that, hi, my name is Nicole, and I just want to ask you a few questions. Now, she's been here for a while. She's been here for quite some time, but I don't always get to all of them right away. Now, which is so funny because I literally tested this out before I put it on her, and it was only one light, and it stayed on one light, and it didn't go at all. And as you can see now, it's going off, which is great because it means that she wants to interact. So, because I have the the EVP recorders going, there are going to be some questions that I ask that she may not be able to answer through the tools that I have here, but I might be able to get an answer on the EVP recordings. And because I don't have the air conditioner running, I will be able to go through the recordings after this video is done and then post another video with any EVP evidence that I have. Okay, so first question would be, what is your name? How old are you? If you can, let me just tell you about some of the tools that we have here. There are two balls next to you, and if you touch them or move them or go next to them, anything like that, those balls will light up and flash different colors. The light that's behind you, if you go up to that light and touch it, that light will go off as well. And with the flashlight, if you turn the flashlight right on the tip, or if you touch it, that flashlight will light up. Can you do any of those things for me? If you hear talking, there are some kids outside playing. I just want to make that very clear. Just in case you're like, oh, I heard something, because that would probably be me. So we don't even have a name. Sometimes we give them names when they come in, and then we ask them, what their actual name is. So that way we can start calling them by their actual name. Sometimes they like the name that we give them so much that they choose to be called that instead of their actual name. We never actually gave her a name. Would you like a name given to you? If you would like a name given to you, could you please set off one of the lights? Now there's a white light behind you. I know you like the EMF detector, but there's a white light behind you. Can you turn that on? My cats always decide to do the noisiest things anytime I start recording. All day long, they sleep. They sleep. There is no noise to be made. But the very second I hit the record button is when they decide to drink the loudest they've ever drank before in their life, or they go into the litter box and scoop as hard as they possibly can. So So speaking of cats, because it seems like you really lighten that up when I mention the cats, do you like the cats? Okay. Now, sometimes when I am laying down in bed, now this is the doll I want to tell you guys. This doll moves. She moves on her own. Now, she does not move from location to location. But what she does do is she can move her vessel. She can turn the head to look at you. You don't see her moving while it's moving. What will happen is you will leave the room and you will know that she's looking in one particular direction. But when you come back in the room, whether it be an hour later or a few hours later or whatever it is, you come back in and you happen to notice that now she's looking at you, but in a completely different direction. So she can move her head, she can move her vessel body, like the body of the doll, to like lean in one direction to kind of get a better view of you. This can be really startling at first, especially if you're like not. I only have one other doll that moves on its own, but she moves her vessel the most. So the spirit that's attached to this doll can manipulate her vessel. And that's actually why I set up the white light closer to her. Okay, so as you can see, the white light just went off. That's why I set the white light closer to her, because I know that she can move this vessel. I know that she can use that light. And I know that she can make those balls go off as well relatively easily, because she can manipulate her vessel. So, can you tell me how many spirits are here? Okay, so the next question would be, do you move your vessel to try to get my attention so that way I notice you? And I'm not sure if, let me just write that down. Can the cats see you? Especially Ben and Katniss, because Ben and Katniss live in this room. Can Ben and Katniss see you? If they can see you, can you light up that white light or those balls? Or if you can even get the EMF to like 4 lights instead of 3. So I am going to now start the spirit box. I have it all set up this time, so there won't be no technical difficulties. Let me just turn it on. I'm always like, I was like, oh, there's not going to be any technical difficulties. Lies I tell.
Power on. Now in SB7 mode.
Let me just make sure the volume is at its highest. Hi. Can you tell me your name? How old are you? Do you like it here? Yeah, I heard yeah. Are you a child? Are you an adult? Okay. Do you not want to tell me? Now, I had some suspicion that this doll did not contain a human spirit, that it might be something else entirely. So my next line of questioning may seem a little weird to you guys, but I think it's important to ask. Are you not a human spirit? I will ask one more time. Are you not a human spirit? If you're not a human spirit, what are you? Can you tell me what my name is? Now I heard mommy. I don't know it. That's what I actually heard. I will go through the EVPs later to see if that's what I heard. But my name is Nicole. Can you say my name? I don't know if that said come down or calm down. Do you move your vessel to get my attention? Now that sounded like it said I have to. I of course want you guys to, I would love for you to tell me what you hear. So the reason why I thought that this was not a human spirit attached to this is the pictures that I take of this vessel are always a little weird. I've never seen a human spirit move a vessel in this way that this one does. And it overall has a very strong energy that doesn't feel it. I have a lot of spirited vessels. A lot of them. And they usually give a you can feel them. And I'm an empath, so I can feel them. This one has a different energy entirely. And so that's the reason why I thought that maybe it was not a human spirit attached to this doll. Is there a reason why your energy is so much different than the other ones that are here? Can you move freely throughout the house? Is there anything that you would like to say before I shut this off? Now there is I have heard the same voice, like the spirit box runs through stations. And usually you can tell when it's spirit using the box because the voice that comes through is different than from, what is scanning through. And I have heard a man's voice a very distinct man's voice multiple times saying something. And so I'm wondering if the spirit attached to this doll is actually a man. Are you an adult man? Some of the things that come through the spirit box are actually quite humorous. Are you a human spirit? Okay, so I could have sworn that said no. I will ask again for clarification. Are you a human spirit? Very faintly, I heard it say no again. I know that it will show up on the EVPs, and so I will be able to post those EVPs once I go through it. So if you are not a human spirit, what type of entity or energy are you? This is a safe space. I will not make you leave if you tell me. And that's the voice. I promise you I will not make you leave if you tell me. You are safe here. You are welcome here. Can you tell me what you identify as? I just realized that the laser grid is off. Is it? Oh no, it's still on. It's just much dimmer. And you can't really see it. Let me just check this. I just heard the spirit box in that voice say hi. So hi. Is there anything that you want to say to me? Are you afraid to speak up because you're afraid I will make you leave? I promise you that's not the case. You've been here for quite some time. You've never caused any problems. Do you like it here? I could have sworn I thought I heard it say yeah again. So I will be able to clarify when I go to the EVPs. Now, why have you attached yourself to this doll? My ear is ringing like really bad. Just one ear. Are you making my ear ring? Was that you trying to talk to me? I may. What were you trying to tell me? Now you can use this to say anything you want. What were you trying to tell me? Okay, I'm gonna shut this off now, okay? Is there anything you would like to say before I do shut this off? Okay.
Power off.
Okay. So now that we did the spirit box, I know that it's kind of really like loud and it just goes through like a lot of sounds and a lot of stations, a lot of white noise, a lot of things being said, you know, but a lot of those things are just like little snippets of the radio stations that it's going through. You can usually tell when a spirit is trying to communicate through the box because you'll have one distinct voice, or if you have multiple spirits trying to talk at the same time, you will get multiple distinct voices coming through that do not sound like it is coming from a radio station. And it's very different than it's just sweeping through. And there was one particular voice that I kept hearing, same tone, same pitch. It sounded exactly the same. And those are the responses that I was getting to answers to some of my questions in that voice. So, usually my investigations are pretty short, just to kind of give you a look inside the, you know, of what a spirited vessel is. I would love nothing more than to post longer videos, but I think for me to post a longer video that I would probably do an in general investigation and not just be pulling out one spirited doll at a time. And this helps me as well because I get to sit down with one particular doll and talk with the spirit attached to that doll. Like I said, I have a feeling that this doll in particular does not house a human spirit. I've had that suspicion for quite some time. And every time I say that, the lights really like kind of like go up to 3 lights and stick around there. And I do believe that's like confirmation. And this is just the way that I investigate. I mean, I'm sure that I am not a professional. I'm not a professional. So I will make that very clear. I'm not a professional investigator. I just, sometimes I don't know what questions to ask. Sometimes, I get a little tongue tied and I don't want to push and I don't want to ask the wrong question or ask inappropriate questions or questions that will make the spirits uncomfortable. And so I'm very careful on what I ask. They're very general questions. And so, therefore, it's not like crazy. And like the evidence that I usually get is pretty subtle. You'll have some lights going off. I mean, the batteries from my laser grid did die relatively quickly. Those are brand new batteries in there. Brand spanking new. And they are already, I can see the light from the laser grid. It's almost not there. And so those batteries got drained really quickly, and I won't be able to see if anything passed through the laser grid until I rewatch the video. So as far as this doll, I won't know if she has a name until I go through the EVPs. And like I said, there will be a separate video with EVP evidence if there is any. So in the meantime, I think I'm going to call, and because I don't believe that this is a human spirit, I'm still going to give this doll a human name. Something to which I can call the spirit by, because this spirit is part of our family, whether it is a human spirit or not. This doll has been with us for quite some time. The entity or spirit attached to it has never caused any issues. I believe my cats can see the entity or spirit that is attached to this vessel for, reasons that my cats will just sit and look straight up at the shelf like they can see something that I cannot. And, the fact that this doll moves, and not to mention the eyes, and this is going to sound really, and I know that people can say pretty much anything on the internet. And, this is a problem. Like, when you're trying, like, what you're about to say is going to sound crazy. And it's like, that it's almost not believable, and I can only say it in knowing that I know it's a true statement. But I would understand if any of you would be like, no way, that's not true. But I'm going to say it anyway. When this doll first came to us, she had two blue eyes. And I bought this doll from another person who collects spirited vessels. And the person who gave her to me was like, I don't really like this doll's energy. And I could see why, because I strongly believe that this is not a human spirit, that this is another entity altogether attached to this doll. But when she first came to us, she had two blue eyes. When I took her off the shelf today, she only has one blue eye. The other eye is missing. And so, I know that dolls can lose their eyes, but if you, hold them up and you kind of shake them a little bit, the doll, the eye, and the white part is there. There's a part of the eye still there, but now it's just black in the middle. And it no longer has the blue there at all. And so one of the eyes has completely changed from when she got here. And she's been here for a while. So I am going to give her a name because I feel like she should have one, whether she is a human spirit or not. And I am going to call her Annie. Do you like that name, Annie? If you like that name, Annie, can you make the EMF go crazy or light up the balls or the light behind you? Just let me know that you like the name, because we can find another one if you don't like that one. Okay, I think they like the name. All right, so I am going to call you Annie from now on. And I'm going to put it on my notes. That way I can make sure to address you as such every time I talk to you. Now, people would think I'm nutty if they saw me, especially somebody who doesn't collect spirited vessels or understand the world of, the paranormal or anything like that. I talk to my dolls. because they have spirits attached to them. I talk to them. You know, even though this one may not have a human spirit attached to it, it does not mean that it does not deserve communication and nurturing, and to show that I have kindness and caring towards it. And every single other spirited vessel that I have, and eventually through all of these videos you will get to meet each and every one of them, they were all human at one point. And I can't claim to know what it's like on the other side. I cannot claim to know what it's like when you pass on. Where do you go? Is there others? Is it lonely? Some people may be lost and don't have any, don't know where they are, don't know how to get to the spirit world, don't know how to, navigate through the spirit world as a spirit. And, with all of that, I think it's really important to show spirits that, I, as a person, am willing to extend my kindness and love to them, because nothing has changed. They still deserve respect, they still deserve kindness, they still deserve nurturing. And as I said before, I think I said it before, there are a lot of children spirits here. And, and actually I'll ask that. Do you interact with the children spirits here? If you can hold that at 3 lights, or make the other lights go off, to let me know if you interact with the children spirits here. If the answer is no, keep it at 1 light. If the answer is yes, hold it at 3 lights. Okay, so I'm going to go with no, that you do not interact with the children's spirits here. All right, so let me just write that down. Is it because you're afraid to scare them? Or are they afraid of you? Yeah, I would say that's a yes. Is it because you don't look like them? Is it because you're a non-human spirit? One light for no, 3 lights for yes. Okay. Do you wish to communicate with them? Do you wish you had more interaction with the other spirits here? Can you hold it at 3 lights for yes? And 1 light for no. But I'll repeat the question. Do you wish you had more interaction with the other spirits here? You will notice too that as time goes on, it might be a little bit harder for them to manipulate the tools, because they do get tired. It takes a lot of energy to interact with these devices. These devices are in this world. So for a spirit, whether human or non-human, to interact with, devices in this world takes a lot of energy. And so you may notice that the devices aren't getting used as much. The answers, may be harder for them to reach. It might be harder for them to get it to 3, or hold it at 3, or, make the lights go off on the balls or the light behind. So I am going to end this session now, Annie. But it was very nice talking to you. And we will be talking again soon. That's for sure. And, thank you very much for allowing me to because I did ask, I always ask permission before I do any of these videos. I don't just post. I always ask permission. And if a spirit indicates that they do not wish to be recorded, those dolls will not be on this YouTube channel. So far, with this one and the one from the last video, they don't mind. It seems like they were pretty chatty. So, and I believe a lot of them have a story to tell. And they have a message that they want to get across, or they have something to say, or maybe, they just are lonely and just need to say something to someone who's listening. So, with that being said, Annie, we're going to end this session. If you would like to say goodbye to everybody who has been watching you and watching your story and watching your interaction. So if you would like to say goodbye at this time, don't forget I still have the EVP recorders rolling and I will be checking them after. And until next time, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that these videos help open up your world a little bit to not only spirits and paranormal, but also to dolls. Dolls are scary to a lot of people, and, I kind of want to show that there's really nothing to be afraid of, and just kind of open that world a little bit to them and show them that, I have not only an entire collection of dolls, but about 90% of them are spirited. And I've never been harmed. There was this one time. And I'll just tell the story real quick before I end this video, because this video is going on almost an hour. But there was this one time that I went to the thrift store, and there was this very large doll. I didn't see the doll right away, but in the back of the thrift store was, like, I kept getting pulled back there, like energetically pulled back there. And I don't typically go back there because it's all furniture, like big furniture, and I don't need big furniture. So I went back there, I listened to the call, and I went back there, and I there was this big doll back there. And the energy seemed right. And you were here, Annie, when this doll came in. I don't know if you remember this spirit that entered into this home. But she was not a good spirit. And I say she, but I can tell you that this spirit was dark. Everything seemed fantastic when she came in, but within a couple of days of her being here, I started to have really horrible nightmares. One of my kids was having really terrible nightmares as well. My cats were being messed with horribly. At one point, I was waking up with scratches. So it was a really, really dark attachment to that doll. And so I ended up finding someone who is, experienced with darker type energies and entities. And I shipped that doll to them for free because I was like, please take this doll. But thank you so much for tuning in. I will likely have another video posted within the next few days or so. And until then, I will see you guys later. Annie, do you want to say bye? All right. Bye, guys.